All right. This is a video of some of the progress I've made on Chrono Beats. I'm here in Chrono Beats, and the first thing I did, just to kind of show you, because I'll be coming back to this, is I put a teleporter so I could go out there and play, go ahead and change settings if I needed to on my instruments. But if we've done this before, but if I walk through, there's a trigger down there, and it's going to trigger. It's going to send a message to go start a sequencer and turn on the audio associated with that sequencer for drums and play a pattern that would have been a jazz pattern. I haven't added the jazz pattern to it, but I've got different patterns in here so I could test it. So there I go. Same with bass, some guitar, except it's not guitar, it's piano, and a sax. And here is where, if I pass through this, some fireworks go off, and the avatar should dance. Here's the new thing too. As you enter a room, there's a trigger, and it just stops all the music playing. So that's how the music stops. And then you go ahead and walk through a different drum beat. And the drum beat's different than the first drum beat you heard. And the bass is different. And the rock will be different. And the leads. So, I've got 2 rooms done. And there, see, it stopped the music again. And there'll be that between every room that'll stop the music. And like I said, and here's when you pass through this, I'll put in the stuff that'll trigger some visual effects like I did in Chrono Beats, and then Ori is going to work on the animating the avatar, or try to, or change the avatar to dancing, to different dances like I did in Chrono Beats. And you don't see the back here. It's one-sided, so you can see one-sided texture or material. But what's kind of going on behind the scenes is this. We'll go back here, and if I run way down here, I've got them organized, and I've got to go put some signs or something here. Here's the drums. And so what's happening there basically is I have 2 tracks in here. I've got I have drums for one track and drums for and sequences for another. So what happens is it comes in here, is it goes ahead and sets those values. These things are tied to triggers. So the first one is the trigger associated with the drum. So this is the drum, the bass. So this one would be I wish I could name them. Maybe I'll put signs up. This is the bass jazz, and this is the bass rock, and they're tied to triggers. So basically, the trigger fires. This connector device here hears that it's fired, and then it passes a value to the sequencer to pick a different note sequence for the jazz versus the rock. I will also set up something like that for the instrument being played eventually. And same here. This is the rhythm. So again, these are tied to these connected devices. Things are tied to those triggers you saw me run through. And it does the same thing here for the to pick the pattern based on if it's gone through this is a lead, whether it's gone through the rock lead or the swing lead. So there'll be 4 of these eventually for each instrument associated with the room you're in and the trigger you've gone past. And these are the volume controls, and basically what happens is anytime you run through a lead trigger, because I'm down on the lead set of things, it's connected to the first one, and it says go ahead and turn on the volume. When you pass through that between the rooms trigger, it sets the volume down to 0. So kind of that's all the programming there is associated with this, which is quite a bit of work. The only other thing new in here is I did my first verse script, but the first script all I did is just put up a message on the in the HUD, and that's it. And this thing is going back to eventually. This is the thing that triggered. I was using for my visual effects trigger and also for my looper experiments. So, but they won't be in the actual game. Alrighty.